Today's lesson is called Wonderful Water Signs. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Helen.
Now, folks, remember, today we are talking about astrology once again. We're not talking about doing sign language underwater. No. That's not the water signing that we're talking about. Here, when we're talking about water signs, we're talking signs of the zodiac. Signs like Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio.
Right, so previously we looked at Cancer and the meaning behind Cancer, the animal that represents this sign and all of the qualities associated with this animal, which probably lent some of those qualities to people who are born under the sign of Cancer. And as we've also seen, people born under water signs tend to be obliging, and they also tend to be highly sensitive to emotions, which means they can feel situations and how other people are feeling, and in the way this makes them very helpful or willing to help other people.
Yeah, their heart goes out to other people. They empathize, so they're very obliging. Anyways, folks, with that, it is time for us to take a short break. But when we come back, we'll learn some more about people who are born under water signs.
The sign of Pisces springs from a story occurring after the Titans' defeat by the new generation of gods, the Olympians. To get revenge, the Titans sent Typhon, a monster with 100 dragon heads, to destroy them. When Typhon arrived at Mount Olympus, Aphrodite and Eros, who had been bathing in the river, found themselves trapped. Then, as one story relates, a couple of fish appeared and brought them to safety. For their heroic act, the fish were placed among the stars to form the constellation of Pisces.
大家好，第一部分我们看到片语 spring from something 表示发源于点点点，来自于点点点。例如 Her problems at work spring from the feeling of inferiority 她在工作上的问题是源自于自卑感。另外补充一个相关片语 stem from 指起源于点点点，由点点点造成。举例来说 Michelle's leg problems stem from a car accident she had when she was younger. Michelle 脚上的老毛病源自于她年轻时的一场车祸。再来我们看到一个形容词 heroic 意思是英勇的，英雄的。例如The heroic soldier was given a medal when he arrived home after the war. 那位英勇的士兵战后返乡时获颁一枚勋章。另外补充一个相关单字 heroine H-E-R-O-I-N-E heroine 这个字是可数名词，指女英雄、女主角。我们可以说 Due to the rise of feminism, heroine has become the theme of movies and dramas.由于女性主义的崛起，女英雄已成为了许多电影和戏剧的主题。
And welcome back. So we were looking at Cancer before, and now we're going to move on to another water sign, which is Pisces. And it says here, the sign of Pisces springs from a story occurring after the Titans' defeat by the new generation of gods, the Olympians. So most of the stories that we have from Greek mythology are about the Olympians, and the Olympians include Zeus and Hera and Apollo and Artemis and Aphrodite and a host of other gods. But they're actually not the first generation of gods, because they were actually born from the Titans. And Titans weren't gods so much as primary elements that created life. So I don't remember the exact names of the Titans, but I think one was Gaia, and Gaia is Mother Earth. So the two generations of gods, Titans and Olympians, had a big war, and the Olympians won and told the Titans to get out of the way because they're now going to rule the universe and humankind.
Yeah, those who lived on Mount Olympus later on, the Olympians, would take over. They were the next generation of the gods. But before the Olympians, there were the Titans, okay? So it sounds to me like the Titans were elemental forces. They're the ones who created everything, and then later on, the Olympians would govern over that creation. But wow, it sounds like the Titans were kind of super powerful in a really interesting kind of way. They were able to create everything, or so the story goes. Anyways, it says here that the sign of Pisces springs from something. Now here, we're not talking about the boing, that type of spring. We're not talking about a piece of metal that you can use to contract and then it'll release and stuff like that. No. We're talking about a different type of spring in this particular situation. Here, when we're talking about a spring, we're talking about a place where water comes out of the ground, from where water originates and enters Earth so that we can drink it and stuff like that. So if something springs from something in that sense, it comes from that thing. Not unlike how water comes out of a spring, that hole in the ground. That's the idea here. So where does this come from? Where does the story originate from? It comes from, or it springs from, a story occurring after the Titans' defeat. Yes, the Titans were beaten or defeated by the Olympians, the next generation of the gods. Yeah, after defeating the Titans, the Olympians became the new gods. By the way, yes, if you defeat someone or something, you beat them, okay? You might be competing, you might be doing battle. One way or another, if you defeat this person or thing, let's say, you best them.
Right. So the noun form of the verb defeat is also defeat. So an example sentence here could be, the boxer didn't want to accept defeat. He didn't want to accept the fact that he lost, so he kept on fighting. And in this instance, the Titans' defeat by the new generation of gods occurred because of the Olympians' strength and their drive to become the new generation of rulers.
Anyways, yes, after the Titans' defeat by the new generation of gods, the Olympians, we got this story about the sign of Pisces. Yeah, to get revenge, the Titans sent Typhon, a monster with 100 dragon heads, to destroy them. Yes, they survived, and they not only survived, they were still quite powerful. They were able to try to take revenge, or to get revenge, and to do so, they sent a monster with 100 dragon heads to kill the Olympians, or to destroy them, I should say, because these are immortals. They can't really die. That's what being immortal is all about. Anyways, it says here that they try to get revenge. What does that mean, Helen?
Right. When you try to get revenge, you do something to hurt or punish someone because they have hurt you or they have done something to you. So an example of revenge in a sentence would be, the man wanted revenge for his son's murder, which means the man wanted to hurt or punish the person who murdered his son.
Okay, now let's hear some more. When Typhon, this monster with 100 dragon heads, when Typhon arrived at Mount Olympus, Aphrodite and Eros, who had been bathing in the river, found themselves trapped. Oh no, but also, what are they scared about? If they're immortal, they can't die. I guess Typhon was just really scary.
They can't die, but they can still be hurt. They can be wounded, and they can still feel pain, I think. So, or they can be kidnapped. But basically, Aphrodite and her son Eros aren't really strong heroes. They're not strong gods. They can't fight. They represent other qualities. So they were bathing when the multi-headed dragon, 100-dragon-headed monster came into Mount Olympus, and they were trapped because they couldn't get out of the body of water they were in, and they didn't know what to do.
They didn't know what to do, and someone came to the rescue here. We've got Aphrodite and Eros. They're scared, but then a couple of fish come and save the day. Yes, then, as one story relates, a couple of fish appeared and brought them to safety. So thank goodness for these fish. I'm going to say it out loud. These fish are heroes.
That's right. And here we have a very similar situation to Cancer or Carcinus, because we have a small animal that's not very strong and that nobody really notices fighting big, gigantic monsters with many heads without thinking twice, just going into the situation, into the fray, and doing what must be done to save the day.
There you go. So for their heroic act, remember, they were heroes. And yes, if you act like a hero, if you save the day, you are heroic. Now, for their heroic act, the fish were placed among the stars to form the constellation of Pisces. So there you go. Carcinus also got a constellation, but the stars there, they're not so bright. They're pretty dim because he failed. Pisces, on the other hand, okay, these two fish, this constellation Pisces, it's up there. And I'm sure that constellation is burning bright because these fish, they didn't fail, okay? They were heroic and they were able to succeed in making sure that Aphrodite and Eros were taken to safety. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take another break. But don't go away. We'll be back with more after this.
Scorpio, on the other hand, is based on the myth of Orion the hunter. By all accounts, Orion was widely disliked because of his arrogance. In one story, Orion angered Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, by boasting about his fine hunting skills. According to another tale, Orion tried to rape Artemis, thus earning the gods' wrath. The gods punished Orion by sending a giant scorpion named Scorpius. Scorpius killed Orion with its sting, and for its service became immortalized in a constellation.
第二部分我们看到一个单字 myth， 这个字是名词，意思是神话。举例来说 There is a myth about a large monster that lives inside a cave on that mountain. 传说中那座山里有一只大怪兽住在洞穴里。再来我们看到名词 arrogance， 指傲慢、自大。例如 Kate's arrogance was starting to annoy her classmates. Kate 自大的态度开始惹恼她的同学。接着我们看到一个动词 rape， 意思是强暴、玷污，像是 It's hard to understand the reason that causes the old man to rape. 很难理解是什么原因导致那个老男人犯下强暴罪行。再来我们看到单字 wrath， 这个字是名词，指愤怒、愤慨。例如 Nina left home to escape her mother's wrath.Nina 为了逃离她母亲的愤怒而离开家。接着我们看到动词 immortalize， 有使不朽的意思。举例来说 The war was immortalized in a famous old song. 一首有名的老歌将这场战役名传千古。
And we're back, and previously we looked at the sign of Pisces and also the two fish that help save Aphrodite and Eros, and now we're going to move on to our third and last water sign, which is Scorpio. So Scorpio, even though it's a water sign, has a lot of its own qualities and its own story, mythological story, that makes it unique and very interesting. It says here in the first sentence, Scorpio, on the other hand, is based on the myth of Orion the hunter. By all accounts, Orion was widely disliked because of his arrogance.
So Orion was a jerk. He was very arrogant, okay? He was very full of himself. He was self-confident to the point of being obnoxious. Yeah, later on we'll talk about what it means to boast. But yes, if you are arrogant, if you possess arrogance, yeah, you really think that you are super cool and awesome, okay? And apparently people didn't like Orion here because of his arrogance. He really thought that he was something else. Now, before we move on, let's talk about a phrase at the beginning of this sentence. By all accounts, it says, Orion was widely disliked. So that's what people said about him. That's what we know about Orion and why people liked him. By all accounts. Based on what we know, this is why people disliked Orion.
That's right. And we must also remember that Greek mythology comes to us in various versions. So there isn't one writer who wrote all the myths, and it didn't all come from one source. So depending on where you're getting these stories, it could be from Homer, who wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey, or another poet who wrote about the gods. They all have slight variations on the stories about the gods, the Greek gods and the heroes. But in this instance, by all accounts, according to all of the sources that talk about the story of Orion the hunter, he was not well liked. He was arrogant and full of himself.
Yeah, in one story, Orion angered Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, by boasting about his fine hunting skills. Yes, look at me. I'm the best hunter in the world. I'm better than you. I'm better than everybody else. I am awesome. Yes, this is Orion speaking, everyone. He's a very arrogant person, or he was, I should say, an arrogant person filled with arrogance. Yeah, he used to brag and boast about how good he was. By the way, yes, if you do boast, you tell people how good you are, okay? You're not humble at all. If you're boasting, you're saying, yes, I'm so great. I'm fantastic. I'm awesome. I'm a fantastic basketball player. I'm the best in the country. I'm better than all of you. Those would be good instances of boasting.
Right. People also boast often about their own children, which might be a bit more common in the States, whereas my parents never boasted about me. They always said that I was an idiot and I could study more. I was lazy, but I boast about my daughter and say what a wonderful daughter she is.
I like to boast about my daughter as well. She's awesome. She's great, but I'm not going to say that she's better than your daughter, Helen, because that would be going too far. And yes, people don't like it when other people boast because they often go too far. You become insulting even if you boast too much. Anyways, moving on, the next sentence says, according to another tale, Orion tried to rape Artemis, thus earning the gods' wrath. And I'm totally with the gods here. If you want to be angry at Orion forever, go for it. He has definitely earned your wrath in spades.
Right, so the second version of the story of Orion is much more serious than the first version, which is basically Orion boasting about his hunting skills. Rape is much more serious, and it's understandable why the gods were very angry about what happened. So they wanted to punish Orion, obviously, and to do so, they sent a giant scorpion named Scorpius.
Which makes sense, and Scorpius killed Orion with its sting, and for its service, became immortalized in a constellation. Now that I think of it, yes, Scorpio, that's a constellation, but doesn't Orion have a constellation as well? How did he get his constellation? He was an evil, evil man. Anyways, I guess we'll talk about that at some other time because for right now, it's time for us to take a break. And when we come back, we'll be wrapping up our article on water signs.
The mythological creatures behind the water signs were all quick to lend a hand. Indeed, this quality makes water sign people great friends and allies to have.
第三部分，我们看到一个片语 be quick to 表示立即马上例如 he was quick to point out that it wasn't his fault at the meeting. 他在会议上立刻指出那不是他的错。最后我们看到一个单字 ally， 这个字是名词，指盟友、支持者。我们可以说 Mike has proved himself to be a helpful ally in our fight for better learning conditions. 在争取更加学习条件的抗争中 Mike 证明他是给予我们协助的支持者。
And welcome back. So now it's time to wrap up our article on water signs. And we have looked at 3 water signs in the zodiac. They are Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. And we can see that each of these animals or each of these signs have the qualities of being very helpful, of stepping in to help out in a situation where they are needed. So it says here the mythological creatures behind the water signs were all quick to lend a hand. Here, to be quick to do something means to do something very quickly, basically, to show no hesitation. For instance, I could say she was quick to show her gratitude to her friends for their support.
She was obliging and obliged. She was quick to lend a hand. Anyways, to go ahead and wrap things up, the final sentence of our lesson says, indeed, this quality makes water sign people great friends and allies to have. Yes, remember, people who were born under a water sign, they are quick to lend a hand, to offer assistance, to help you out. So, for this reason, they make for great friends and allies as well.
That's right. I definitely wouldn't mind having a water sign person as a friend of mine, as a close friend, because I know that I will be able to count on them. And I actually think that a lot of my friends are born under water water signs, and it's not like I asked them first, what's your sign, and then decided whether I wanted to become friends with them. But it just so happened that after getting to know them and finding out what their signs are, it turns out that many of them were either Scorpios or Pisces or Cancers.
Wow, what a coincidence. How cool. Astrology is magic. All right, everyone, with that, it's time for us to take a break. But don't worry, don't fret, the Chinese teacher is waiting in the wings.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。读到课文第二部分第二句，他说 By all accounts, Orion was widely disliked because of his arrogance. 根据各方说法，这个 Orion 他因为傲慢而受到众人厌恶。好，这边的 account 是当名词，但它不是指账号账户哦，它有记述描述的意思。那么 by all accounts 或者是 from all accounts 就表达据说根据各方说法，人人都说怎么样怎么样。例如 Dave was by all accounts a hard worker。大家都说 Dave 是个努力工作的人。好，那顺便补充几个跟 account 相关的片语。第一个是 take into account。好 account 在这边它表达说明、理由或是仔细思考。那么 take into account 就表示考虑，把某个因素纳入考量。像是 be sure to take the weather into account as you plan your hike. 你在计划健行的时候，务必要把天气因素纳入考量。好，第二个呢是 on account of， 这表示因为、由于，它的意思就跟 because of 差不多。像是 the game was cancelled on account of the storm， 因为暴风雨的关系，这个比赛被取消了。好，另外 account 它当不及物动词的时候，常常会跟 for 连用。那么 account for 它可以表达许多不同的语义，以下我们就列举3种。第一种呢是用 account for 来表达对什么什么来做出说明、做出解释。像有一句话说There's no accounting for taste. 品味喜好是无法解释的，意思就是说人各有所好啦。好，那么第二个用法呢是用 account for 来表达占什么什么多少数量比例，或者是指组成构成。那这时候它的意思就跟 make up 一样，像是 Foreign workers account for 10% of their employees. 他们的外籍员工比例占了 10%。好，那么第三种我们可以用 account for 来表达导致是什么什么的原因，那这时候它的主词通常是事物，像是 recent family problems might account for his poor test scores. 最近的家庭问题或许就是导致他成绩不好的原因吧。好，那我们再看到课文第二部分有个句子是 According to another tale, Orion tried to rape Artemis,thus earning the gods' wrath. 根据另外一个故事 Orion 想要对 Artemis 非礼，那因此就引起众神的愤怒。好，句子里面这个 thus earning the gods' wrath 它本来可以写作 which thus earned the gods' wrath。这关系代名词 which 就是用来代指前面的句子， which 就表示那个 Orion 想要对 Artemis 非礼的这一件事情，然后 which thus earned the gods' wrath 表示这件事情因而引起众神的愤怒。那我们课文它其实是把 which 省略，再把动词 earned 改成现在分词，那么关系子句它就被简化成 thus earning the gods' wrath。 好，以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾这些单字吧。
Defeat. Our army suffered a defeat in the first battle, but it won every one after that. Revenge. Jim wants revenge against his older brother for playing a mean joke on him. Heroic. The mayor praised the police force for their heroic deeds. Myth. Several of the book's characters are based on famous figures from ancient myths. Boast.
People who have low self-confidence often boast about themselves to hide their lack of security.
Ally. I can always count on Christina to be my ally when I need one.
Discussion starter starts now.
And now it's time for our discussion starter. Helen, people born under which of these signs do you think would make the best friend?
I really can't choose, so I would choose to be friends with people born under all of those signs because they all seem like really nice people, very obliging and helpful.
I think since people born under Pisces are naturally heroic, and able to save gods like Aphrodite and Eros, I think for this reason I would want to be friends with them most. That being said, though, other people born under water signs are pretty awesome as well. Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I'm Helen.
See you next time.